Welcome everybody to Eye of the Serpent Tarot for another pick a card. So today we're asking, where are you about to take flight, to win, to succeed, kind of like the takeoff, the navigation towards your next big step on your path, your next big success, what sort of skills and so forth do you have, and what supports and all of that kind of good stuff. That's what we're going to look at today. And to help with the choice, and of course you can always go to more than one reading, as I always say, you do you on that, but I've chosen three very different sort of feeling tarot decks to maybe help bring you to the right energy, but of course you can go to more than one. I've actually shuffled and asked Spirit for a major arcana card to give us a bit of an idea about the nature of the energy of your flight path, if you will. And there's also some cards from each of those decks underneath there to give us a little bit of a first theme. The other card that you can sort of see there that's sort of pink and purple, it's actually from the Dragon Rider's Oracle, because I thought, let's have a dragon power rather than just horsepower. Let's have dragon power for your flight path. So that will also help us themically to start with. And then we'll explore the nature of your sort of flight path, your rising, your winning, all of that kind of thing. So I think that's pretty simple. I don't think it takes a lot of explanation. So let's just very quickly look at the decks, the tarot decks involved in each pile, and the major arcana card that Spirit indicated. So for pile number 1, we have Dreams Within Dreams Tarot with the Moon card. For pile number 2, we have the Ins Tarot with the Sun card. And for pile number 3, we have the Lucid Minds Tarot with the Fool card. So that may help draw you to where your flight path and winning is. But as I say, if you feel drawn to more than one reading, by all means, go to more than one reading. There may be a few areas in your life that are really taking off. When you know what reading or readings you want to go to, as always, I've got the timestamps in the description box below, and I'll see you there. Welcome, pile number 1, to your reading. So you came to the Moon. And as I said, we have a Dragon Rider Oracle card here, which has both the Dragon Rider, in this case, a elven healer called Airmed, and the dragon that she is with, which is an olive green dragon of calm and healing called Matilda. So that is to give us a bit of an idea of the flight path and your win. And I think with the energy that we're seeing with these combined, part of what this is saying is that there is a process of healing, rejuvenation, and going within and contemplation before taking flight. So it will bear that in mind as we go through. It's not saying that you're not ready to win with something, you're not ready to take flight, but it does look as though you've been through quite a lot and there is an introspective healing period. Either that, or this is something for people who are natural healers spiritually, and that is really going to take off. So we'll see a little bit more as we go along. But when I think of the Moon card, I think of spiritual abilities, psychic abilities, all of those sort of things. But it's also what's hidden. It's also the time when we rest. And so with getting Airmed, as I said, which is an elven healer, the card itself says, you are now in need of rest and recuperation. It is only when cradled in the silence of a powerful being that you can achieve self-awareness and follow your soul path with divine clarity. So it may be a almost initiatory feeling too that we're looking at here, to sort of take you towards your destiny, towards your truth, all of that kind of thing. But in any case, there's something introspective. And that makes it very interesting that we have the sun reversed here with the moon. It's very much emphasizing something about being a bit more hidden, something more about rest, the night, all of that kind of thing. For some of you, there could be something about awakening spiritual powers that come at night. So through things like meditation, dreaming, that kind of thing that you may do when you are quieter and calmer. So there definitely could be that energy as well. If you're thinking like, actually, I don't feel like I need to heal at the moment, but I definitely feel like there's a greater spiritual energy coming in. Getting for some of you that you may actually, the onset of this might be restless sleep and things like that. So you could be sort of dealing with something like that, because there's a lot of actual creative energy wanting to come through. We've got the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands sort of bookmarking the theme of this. So this is you knowing what you want to do creatively, using your firepower and knowing what the decision is around that. But it almost looks to me there's two things that could also be coming out of this. One is that your creative energy, which I almost would feel like was the sun, as opposed to your kind of more emotional energy, which is more like the moon. It's like maybe the emotional energy needs to be balanced, because at the moment with the Two of Cups reversed, it's like you're not necessarily balancing and using and making choices from the emotional space, you're doing it more from the creative space. Now, there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. It's just getting it into balance. And it's saying maybe sort of cool that down a bit, rest, recuperate, and work out what you want emotionally about something. For some people, with the moon upright and the sun reversed, and then with the Two of Cups reversed, this could be pointing to healing after a relationship that didn't work out. Or it could be that you are about to meet someone where there is that potential alchemical marriage sort of energy around it. But for you to be ready to make the choice to let that happen, so that it's almost like your flight path becomes the two of you together, you first of all have to take the time out to work what do you want to be passionate about. So there's something in here about taking time out to contemplate, taking time out to heal if you need it. A lot about night energy on one level or another. But it is all in service of you making decisions about your passions and your ambitions in life. But it just feels to me like it's that point before, when you're on the tarmac, before you take off, and everything is going through its sort of safety check. Is everything ready? Let's make sure everything is fighting fit, that kind of energy. And there could be some healing to do, depending upon whether, as I say, you gravitate to the sort of what I was saying about maybe, a past relationship that was difficult, or not being sure about what you want emotionally and how that fits with your life path, all of those sort of things. But certainly this is saying that you have the energy around you and a dragon around you, energy that is about calming everything, getting everything ready so that it's smooth sailing to move forward for what you want. So it's positive, but it just feels to me like there's a step to go through before taking off, or before going for the win. It's like the preparation to do that. It's like, it feels almost a bit like, what I'm getting is almost like a martial arts fighter who maybe meditates and gets into the zone before they go into the battle, that kind of thing. There is wisdom in this, even if you feel a little bit impatient to get on with it. So let's get some more out of the rest of the tarot from this tarot deck. So let's ask first, what areas in life are you ready to fly or win in, or that you need to go through this contemplation period so that you can then take off? We're then going to look about what age your flight path, but we'll also look at what could block it, either internally in you or externally. So we get a bit of an idea about the navigation path. So what is this all about for you, firstly? Ace of Cups, Three of Swords, Five of Swords, the Hierophant, Four of Cups. I do think for many of you, with that sun and moon energy and the Two of Cups, this has got to do with your heart. If you haven't been through a recent breakup, which is possible with the Ace of Cups and the Three of Swords, and you're now recuperating from that so that you're ready to sort of love again and so forth, then you may have actually felt a bit detached from your heart. As I say, there could have been a lot of ambition, a lot of Page of Wands, Two of Wands, a lot of passion, ambition sort of energy, as opposed to the kind of more introspective, quiet heart energy. But there's definitely something here. There's something, and it's about what you believe, because the Three of Swords, the reason the Three of Swords is a tricky card is because it's a heart energy sort of married to our belief structure. And it's not that they're antithetical, but when there is a difficult energy, we will, with the swords, the reason the swords are a tricky suit is that we can imagine things as worse than they are. The other threes in the suits, if you think about Three of Pentacles, you can collaborate on something material. Three of Wands, you can make a decision, do I go forward on my own with my vision or with others to have a joint vision? With Three of Cups, there's usually celebration. But Three of Swords makes us think about the heart. And this is what this is kind of, and what could go wrong or what could worry us. And it's where we would go if we have broken up from somebody or whatever. We will go into analysis about that. So this has something to do with healing a heart energy, moving away from thinking about it too much. And it's also about understanding that this was a learning energy that was necessary to go towards what you want, because it's telling me, whether it's a broken heart, whether it's a particular thing that you were trying to achieve that didn't quite happen, that was close to your heart, or whether it's just that you felt detached from your heart while you're going after your ambition, to have just kept going without contemplating and reintegrating the heart energy would be to stay blocked emotionally. So this is all about unblocking you emotionally. So it's not so much about, let's give you the firepower to move forward. When you need that with the Page of Wands and the Two of Wands, you're going to have the the rocket fuel to move, but it's more making sure that you can sustain the longer term around something, that you can believe in what you're doing, and that you aren't carrying a weight or a baggage. Think about a plane. If it has too much baggage, then that's a problem with liftoff. So that's what this is about. So I think if you don't relate to getting over something or reconnecting with your heart as a way to move forward and win, then maybe look at one of the other readings, because I think it's pretty clear what we're talking about here. So what will aid your flight path if you're doing this sort of internal healing and preparation? King of Swords, Ace of Wands, Six of Swords reversed, Knight of Cups reversed. Okay. So I really think this is around emotional stuff. I'm just going to tilt this a little bit. I think that was a little bit out of whack. I think this is about like love, emotional stuff, or the emotional side of something creative that you're trying to do. What this is telling me is that there is a withdrawal here. It's definitely saying that not thinking about what's the next love or making an offer to someone or trying to reach out emotionally right now. Like right now, doing that is not going to help you. You need to do some other stuff first, because you're heading into a period where the actual direction, whether it's creatively or love-wise, is not clear. So as I say, if you've broken up from someone, then if you rush straight into getting into another relationship at a time where things aren't clear and you don't know really what you want, you could just replicate the issue. But if you have worked out what you want, it gives you a navigation when things aren't clear. And that is often the case in your relationships. We don't know where it's going. We don't know what's going to happen with it. We need to feel comfortable in that space. So I think this is a sort of what is going on here to aid your flight, is that it's saying that you are someone who the mind has to be satisfied about the balance. And at the moment, you've separated out from the heart with your mind. So if you take the time out to heal and you bring your mind back in alignment, your heart, your passion, and your mind into alignment, and you have almost, with the King of Swords, it's almost like having a set of criteria or a structure going, this is what I would accept in my life, romantically or creatively or whatever it is. These are the rules almost. I know how I would be behaving in the right way, and I know how others would be for me. And I've worked that out, and I've connected my heart, and I know what I need. That gives you the structure to then just follow the passion, all the potential of the Ace of Wands, and not be that worried about, I don't know where this is going yet, because that gives you the structure to feel comfortable. And it almost looks to me like if you have just gone through a difficult relationship, and I'm just going, a lot of you, I think this is what this is about, then it is saying one of the structures maybe you need right now is not to be the one who pursues. You have to wait till you're pursued, because you need to sort of feel that someone is putting that effort into you. So maybe if you have gone through a difficult relationship and broke up, you felt like you were always the one who was putting the energy into the relationship. And it doesn't even have to be romantic. It could be friendships or whatever. There's sort of a situation here where you taking the first step isn't the best idea. It's like step back, heal and wait. But in this time, work out what it is that would give you the big tick to move forward. So you go, yeah, this feels comfortable, because then you feel healed, you feel integrated, you can fly, you can win in this energy. So let's look at what could block it, both internally and externally. So we're going to do 3 cards for internally, anything else within you that could block your flight path, and also 3 cards externally. What could other people or circumstances, what do you need to be aware of? What would the air navigation people need to be telling you about in your flight path? So for you internally, okay, the Nightmare reverse, that's an additional major arcana card in this deck. The 10 of coins, the 2 of coins. I'm just going to put out for the external as well in case there's some cross correlation. So externally, the 3 of wands, the Hanged One reversed, the King of Wands. Okay. I do feel there's something here where I think that you are naturally very passionate, and whether, as I say, whether this is about friendships, love, or something creative or something like that, you're someone who's very naturally passionate. You go after things normally, like you really do, and that's a wonderful thing. A lot of firepower in you, actually. And that that is sort of something which could bring competition, and I'll get to that. There's something like that over there. Right now for you internally, what could block you is if you haven't cleared out whatever went wrong before, because I think it's almost like it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy that you just keep doing it again. So you really do need to clear that energy out with the nightmare reverse, so that you're not either like just looking for, okay, there's the sign, this isn't going to work. So you actually kind of like chill something before it could even begin. You decide not to take off before you could even take off. Or you could potentially be carrying that as an underlying belief that's unconscious that you need to be aware of, that it's just not going to work. You want something very secure, and your choices, as I say, whether this is about love, friendship, creativity, career, whatever it is, you are very rational and you're very material. You like your evidence. You really like your evidence. And I think, you are naturally passionate, but a thing that's detached your heart is that your heart is the point you're protecting in this. And your heart is, and the way you protect it is with, show me the evidence. Like so the Pentacles things here, show me how this is going to last. Show me that this is the right and logical choice. And then you resolve to your mind, and your mind goes, okay, does it fit the criteria? This is why knowing the criteria is important, so that you can even let something begin. So even just understanding that about yourself, there's nothing wrong with wanting evidence, but equally you do have to get to the point where you are happily saying, I know ultimately what my flight path is, and what I would be looking for as signs along the way, but I'm not going to feel I have to know every single step of this and have it guaranteed at the beginning, because in anything that's emotional, creative, or whatever, we spend a period of time where we don't know exactly where we're going. So I think understanding that's part of releasing your heart, because you've really got your heart very protected. Totally understand it, but it's limiting what you could do at the moment. The other thing is, as I say, nobody would really know this about you. You appear to be very passionate, ambitious, confident, all of those things. And it draws people to you. But remember I said like the Three of Wands, it's a really interesting question about, are you going forward with your own vision or other people's vision or something combined? There's other people want to connect with you. And some of them are also very passionate about what you're passionate about. And there may even be an X or something like that energy around this with the King of Wands, because you could very easily have been drawn to a King of Wands type. And it's not about gender or preference. It's just the energy of someone else who's very fiery and who appears very confident. But it's like deciding whether you move forward with your ambition or whether you move forward with someone else. There's a whole different way of thinking about this sort of person, I think. It's got to be someone who doesn't suppress the sun in you. And as I say, this doesn't matter whether it's a romance or a friendship or whatever. So that decision, the people around you are impacting that decision. And again, that's why you need to withdraw and work out what do you want, and how would you feel comfortable to know it was happening. So let's get you some natural gifts to help you with this. So I'm going to get a couple of spirit animals for your kind of inner nature that helps you, and then we're going to get a couple of spiritual gifts per se as well. So firstly, a couple of spirit animals that show your energy and what you could contemplate and build on for your strength during this period of time, where I think you need to go into almost that contemplative healing phase. Firstly, the emu. And secondly, the zebra. Okay. These are two that are really good, I think, for what you're needing to do, and they're really good to contemplate on and connect with if you're sort of going within, because one is about understanding your adaptability. So as I say, one of the things that I'm getting in this is that you are naturally very creative, passionate, all of those sort of things. Your heart is actually very, very powerful. It's just that you're really protecting it. And what that might have done is made you more rigid, particularly if you were needing the evidence and you were needing the logic. So emu can help you be more flexible and adaptable. Like that helps you get to the Six of Swords reverse, which is where we're okay that we don't have a final destination in mind. We're kind of exploring, we're being curious, and we can ebb and flow and deal with others and deal with the circumstances. And that's really good to allow for the flexibility. But zebra over here says that's fine, but you also have to celebrate who you are. So this is not about being so flexible that you just fit in with somebody else's creative ideas just to have the connection or to move forward if you felt rejected or you felt that you weren't being sort of seen before. It is important you can be flexible but still stay true to who you are, because there's something very unique about what you do. And the more that you can balance those two things and protect your heart in a way that the heart feels flexible, but it feels authentic and it feels seen and it feels able to express itself, these spirit animals will help you with that. What about spiritual gifts that you have yourself that either you may know about or may emerge? And for you, they may emerge in this period of time with the moon. This could be a period of significant spiritual advancement around gifts and abilities and so forth. Firstly, runes. So you're being called to explore the ancient Norse method of divination. So divination in general, like whenever like runes, tarot, or whatever comes out in this deck, I think this is saying that you actually have a natural divinatory ability. And that could help you also. Because again, the thing around all this is the thing you've got to deal with, and I kind of understand this because it's not dissimilar to me, but I'm not wanting to project here, but I kind of understand this pattern. You do protect your heart with your mind and with evidence. And even around spirituality, you're the sort of person, you're not very woo. You're not going to go, oh, I just believe I have every spiritual gift ever. You actually want to see proof. And I think there's sort of something about the divination and starting to see how things come true and how you are able to kind of like read what's coming up that gives you some of the evidence and will help you navigate when you're feeling a little bit unsure. Plus, psychometry. You're being called to sense and read the vibrations of objects and people through touch. Okay, so this again, it's kind of, this is the knowing your flight path, I think. Learning that you have this divinatory oracular ability to do that and starting to trust it. So it gives you a navigation. This is helping you deal with other people. Like psychometry is really the reading of other people's energy. So, you might hold their earrings as this is showing, or a ring or something like that. It's all about tuning into the energy of another person. And there is something about understanding yourself separate to other people, but also in collaboration with other people that is important here. So knowing that you can determine the best path through divination and you can read the environment that you're in is going to be very important for this. But something's happened, as I say, that made you need to pull back. Once you do that and you work out how to manage your different energies, that's when the flight is really easy. That's when you're going to be very, very successful. Okay, so let's see with that the energy that you would bring to yourself and to others as kind of colour, as a way of saying that. So the energy that you can bring to yourself, having spent some time with Airmid and Matilda. I just want to say something else that actually occurred to me when I saw this, and this may only like relate to one or two of you, but there's actually a musical, and then there was a book. I think it might have been Roald Dahl, but don't quote me on that because I might have the wrong author, called Matilda, but it was about a little girl who was very unique and very magical. And I almost feel like for some of you, there's something in that. Maybe go and listen to some of the songs or read the book or something. There's something in there because this is saying there's something very magical about you, but you need to kind of like work out how to use that magical ability. So I just wanted to point that out. Okay, so the colour energy for yourself with this as you prepare for takeoff. Sienna, plans, preparation, training. Yeah, you do, because you're very grounded in evidence. This allows you to do that. It allows you to have the navigation tools and to know what you want and how you would know that you were going forward. And there's nothing wrong with that. Anything that you can do that will help you with that is helpful in general. And then for other people, Mint, daydream, fantasy, imagination. Don't expect everybody to understand what you're doing, actually. That might be one of the things. That might be why it's sort of saying don't reach out with the Knight of Cups, be aware of other people with their own dreams or whatever. Like, let it naturally happen. Like, if people do recognize you and see what you're doing and they don't think you're off, daydreaming or whatever, then that's fine. But otherwise, just keep doing what you're doing because the right people will come to you at the right time. I think there's something about the heart chakra coming up also with Mint and with the green dragon. This is all about your heart. I feel like you're very magical and you're very, very kind of a bit ahead of your time in a way. And not everybody's going to understand that. And that's maybe been what's hurt you. But don't lose that. Don't lose what's important to you. Just use the adaptability to move towards what you want to move towards. Okay. So let's also see some astrology energy. So a couple of planetary pairings that will help you on your flight. Jupiter and Chiron, yeah, there's definitely something about healing. There's great growth and expansion that can come through that. And as I say, for some of you, you may actually start to learn that you are a natural healer yourself. That is a possibility with this. And particularly psychometry would be very important there. And Mars and Saturn. Yeah, you need to take a rest. You've got a hell of a lot of energy, but you need to give yourself the structure to use it properly and to give yourself a rest. Like there's a natural constriction energy operating at the moment, which is almost the opposite to the energy of what I thought this reading would be about, which is like, oh, we're just going to take off. But it's not that it's forever. It's to give you the structure to really make that work. But there is some healing that needs to happen so that you know what your path is and you're really confident about the path. So what's a sign to look out for? This is particularly important for you because I feel like I'm almost going to be asking, what's the sign to tell you when you've done the healing and you've got this in place? Apart from feeling you've got the plans and you're feeling more confident, just a sign that could be synchronistic or could turn up in a dream or something like that for you. Wow. Okay. Betrayal, deceit, gaslighting, infidelity, narcissism, toxic behaviors. I think, yeah, there's something that's happened. I think that this is maybe kind of healing and going through when this happened and understanding what that is. Because I do think there's something about you that draws other people to you, and sometimes they're the right people and sometimes they're not. And you might argue, well, that's true of all of us. But I think for you, you may have, because of this sort of like energy, I feel like you draw some people who would be naturally good collaborators with you because you're very creative and passionate, and so are they. But sometimes you're going to draw competition. So I think this is more, if once you've gone through the healing, you feel the healing from something like that that's occurred and you've understood what it is so that you know what to sort of put into your flight path to know what to avoid if it sort of comes along. Like I feel like literally on the flight path, this is like 3 ravens that sort of come towards the plane and it's like how to avoid it. That's what I get, ravens for some reason. So there may be something about the rule of 3 as well here. It may be that there are 3 times when something has happened. So once you know that, you know everything you need. Each of those aspects gave you a piece of knowing what it is. But I feel like the real sign for you with the healing is when that is acknowledged, known and cleared and healed. That's when you'll know that you're ready to move forward and you won't replicate this. This won't happen again because you'll understand what happened. Sorry, this is a little bit more heavy than I thought it was going to be honest, but it's important to do the healing and this is sort of talking about why. Okay, so let's see some fortune energy associated with this using a Lenormand. So any fortune energy around your flight path or this preparatory time for the flight path and for the winning. Letter. Okay, there's some news that's going to come. I think you're going to find something out. I think most of you probably know something you're already healing, but I think you're going to find out something else. It's going to clarify a lot. It may sort of feel a little bit like, oh, okay. But on the other hand, it clarifies it for you. You're going to get some information. Ring about who to connect with and who not to connect with. Because there is definitely the possibility of love, passion and so forth coming in. But there's also, I think, understanding about where is that good energy and where is it not good energy. Whip, yeah, and where has it brought discord? You're going to understand something. Like this is definitely saying, I said it right at the beginning, if you didn't feel that there was some healing and heart healing to happen, this isn't the right reading. So if you're stuck with it, then you'll know what this is. But I do think you're going to understand. Like the whole thing about this is understanding. And I think you will find out some other things and it will free you to know what you do want, what you would connect to. Okay, so lastly, what I was going to do. So I think this is the preparation for the flight. But let's still ask, the last thing I was going to do is using the Earth Power deck, asking a spiritual energy of a place. Now, it doesn't mean you're literally flying to this place. It's just the spiritual energy of what you could fly towards to win. And so once you've done this healing, what is a kind of very broad energy of what you're flying towards? We have Mount Kailash. I am sacred, I am divine, I have humility, I can start anew. Well, that about sums it up, doesn't it, Pile 1? Understanding what is sacred and divine about you, what is unique about you, but also what you can adapt. You're not sort of like, I am, my way always or the highway. There's an adaptability, there's a humility when you need to do it, there's an understanding of the energy and you start anew. So that's what this is all about. The next stage for you is meant to be very successful. because you are capable of learning about things. So one of the really good things about someone who's very evidence-based is that they do learn. So you don't really need to learn twice. And so having gone through that healing and understood it, you can move forward refreshed and anew. And that's the next great stage on your flight path. So I hope, although this is a little bit tough, I've got to say, I hope that it's helpful. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome part 2 to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Sun card from Tarot, and I think it's interesting, you come to Tarot anyway, because to me that's very much your social media communication, modern world, speed of sort of thought, speed of action, speed of new ideas sort of energy. I mean, social media has opened up the world so much. And to come to a reading where the Sun is almost the entry point is very, very positive. That would suggest what is on your flight path has something to do with your life path. It's optimistic, it's growthful, it's warm. And there's a certain innocence to it as well. The Fool card is an innocent card. And so in a way is that replicated at the Sun with the child that is often on the horse and so forth. So there is a sense of innocence here. And that is sort of showing also in the Dragon Rider Oracle, because we have Afriel, that is an angelic sort of energy connected to youth and to inspiration and all of those sort of things. So there's something very inspired about this, something, whether it's love, whether it's creativity, whether it's your career, whether it's your spiritual path, there's something very innocent, inspired, optimistic in this energy. And Afriel is all about that. And Beleza, the dragon that Afriel rides, is a name and a word for beauty. So there's something very beautiful about it as well too. So whether it's beautiful love, beautiful creativity. The other thing that struck me when I laid the cards out is we have the Sun, and then we have a rainbow. And I think, with the rainbow is created after the rain and when the Sun comes out. So I think there is a kind of a beauty here and a new innocence and a freshness, the freshness that we get after rain, the smell of grass and nature after rain has a particular wonderful smell, a wonderful sort of sensation to it. So there's something very new. This is something very new. And it's shown in a way with this. And one of the things that Beleza talks about is understanding when you're doing something new that we have to have the polar opposite. And that I find really interesting in the cards that we have here, because particularly with these two, we have the Ace of Wands reversed, which is the new idea. Hasn't quite happened yet. You either haven't had the inspiration yet and it's coming through and this is going to be your sign to move forward, or you've got an idea, a passion, for whatever it is, creativity, love, whatever it is, but it hasn't happened yet. It's like it's just at its birthing stage. So it's full of newness and full of energy and full of potential. But we also have the Ten of Wands, which is sort of the opposite end, where it's sort of like you're carrying a burden from all of the energy that you've used. So it's almost as though, and that fits with the rainbow and the Sun, it feels to me like part of the message here is that you've gone through a lot of work for something. You're kind of maybe a bit tired. Even hearing this message, you might be thinking, do I really want to do lift off? Do I want to do something new? But on the other hand, there is this sort of like nudge from the universe that something wonderful wants to come through. But you can't, it's almost like you couldn't have got to this new thing without having almost exhausted some other thing. So the opposites are necessary. They balance each other out. And in a weird way, King of Wands and Queen of Pentacles. This could be you and another person, whichever one you might identify with. This could be two aspects of you, or it could just be two aspects of life, because the court cards can represent types of life and types of energy. So the King of Wands, these are both, they're both the king or queen, so they're very well developed. It could suggest that whatever you're doing here, particularly with the Ten of Wands, there's been a lot of activity, energy, ambition that has got you where you've got, and you're about to do the new thing. So the King of Wands is all about that, having reached the apotheosis of your creative and ambitious energy and really knowing who you are. But it's still all about the fiery passion, and it leads to the Ace of Wands. That's what follows after that. Once you've got to that point, you move to that. So there's sort of like one side of this is having achieved something, having gone through a lot, having achieved something, and that's great. It's like you've got the glittering prizes for something, but that's just, well, what's the next step? And then the other side of it is, what do you keep and what do you... So this is like the stepping off point for something new. The opposite side of it is, what do you stay loyal to in the change? Because the Queen of Pentacles is like keeping the home fires burning. She's like the established material thing. So I sense that whatever this is for you, it's like you have achieved something, like a really good example, a couple of really good examples. One could be that you've just graduated. You've done really well and you're ready to start a new career. And it's sort of like, what from your studies or whatever do you need to still take forward, in your qualifications? And what do you need to almost go, okay, that was study, now it's what do I apply it to? So it's sort of like, what are the two opposites that you need to balance that will give birth to the new and take you to another success? Because I feel like you've had a success. Another good example of that is in a workplace. If you move from being a really good specialist in something to being a manager, or to do what they say, working in the business or on the business. It's very different roles once you hit another level. How much of what you really understood on your professional level, specialist level, do you keep? And how much do you need to let that go to take on a new role? If it's a love relationship, then it's what did what would you be loyal to that you keep? Even if you're sort of moving from something that has had its time and there's something new to move towards. So there's something here about really new energy coming through, and it's very, very positive, Potter. It's not, this is not a, I mean, maybe we are going to look at whether there are blocks and what to do with them, but this is a positive thing. But it is kind of like after a lot of effort in something, and there may be a little bit of, how do I balance those two things? That I think is the question. So yeah, let's use the tarot. And what we're going to do, we're going to firstly look at what areas in life in particular is this referring to. And this might help us get an idea. Is it like creative? Is it career? Is it love? And what are we talking about here? Then we're going to have a look at what is really helping your flight path. And then we'll have a look at what could be blocking it, either with you internally or externally with other people and circumstances. So let's just get a little bit more of an idea about what is this new energy that is arising like a new baby, so to speak, after a lot of effort. Six of Swords, Four of Swords, Five of Pentacles reversed, Temperance reversed, Four of Wands. Oh, no, this is interesting. Okay. So the really key thing that's sort of like jumping out to me about this is the shift of this is from doing something that you very much worked on alone towards working out how to balance and do this with other people. That's whatever this is about. Now, it could be, if you're used to being a loner and in love and not really committing, it might be something's coming in, a relationship's coming in that will shift all of that and will make you want to commit or make you think about committing. If it's around career or study or something, you very much used to, you're very calm. You kind of do know you're heading in the right direction. It's like the direction is not an issue, but you're very much used to doing everything on your own. But this is calling you to think about, this won't take you further. You have to deal with other people for this. And it's sort of like how you deal with the balance. It looks a lot like being promoted or something like that. Or as I say, moving from study into a workplace where you're working with a team or something like that. And you're naturally very much, your own person. You're very comfortable with things like research. If you were doing Myers-Briggs, you're probably more on the introvert than the extrovert end of the scale and so forth. But that may be, and you're comfortable with carrying the burden, but to take whatever this is forward, you need to work with other people, you need to connect with other people, you need to collaborate with other people, or you need to come out into the world, even if you're worried about the disturbance of the vision. So I think that this is why we have Afriel and Beleza. I think Afriel is saying, the vision you have is beautiful. That's fine. You're not going to find a great deal of pushback about that, but you do need to be prepared to connect with others and take it forward. And this may be a little bit discombobulating for you. This is why Beleza is also saying everything has its opposite. So if within the balance before you did a lot on your own, but that meant you had to carry a lot, if you're not carrying as much because the next step requires you to be with other people, then it requires you to be with other people. So it's sort of like, when am I just the own master of my destiny and when am I collaborating? I think there's something like that going on with this energy. So what aids your flight path? What's going to work best for success for you? We have the Ten of Pentacles reversed, the Hermit reversed, the Four of Pentacles. Oh, and the Happy Squirrel. So there's a bit like something's going to come out of the blue that you know, like just a luck or something like that, that you don't even see coming. A bit like getting the blank card, but it's a good energy. Like everything about this is good, even though I think it's a bit discombobulating at first. So what's going to help you is, for some of you, this might be moving out of home with the Ten of Pentacles reversed, or it could be moving out of one workplace into another. Something in the past has to be let go of, though. You've reached what you needed to reach with that. It's got to be let go of, and you've got to come out more into the world about what you're doing. You can't just sit in your room, you know, or in front of your PC and do it all that way. You do have to connect with others. So letting go of old patterns that were much more solitary is very important here. Thinking about what will make you feel like you have a firm basis and not feeling like you have to rush, what makes you feel secure doing that will help you, because luck is on your side, though. Ultimately, luck is on your side. So ultimately, as long as you're comfortable being around others, and this is the thing, it's like what would make you feel comfortable there? If you had to create something with other people, then maybe it's like these are the certain non-negotiables on this vision. I'll work with you as long as those non-negotiables are there. That might be the way that you work it out. If it's that you're moving from, you know, having, you know, like a lot of sort of solitary sort of energy in your family where nobody bothered you in your room, and now you're going to be sort of like share housing and it's going to be a different energy. It's kind of like, well, what is going to be mine and what are the rules around that? So it depends on what this is, but I think if you have an idea about what would be the foundation and that's non-negotiable, other than that, come out and talk with other people and so forth. So what within you, we're going to get 3 cards, could block your flight path or slow it down. And then what also in the external world do you need to be aware of that could do that? So within you, the Knight of Pentacles reversed, the Queen of Cups, the Two of Wands reversed, and what in other people, or you know, from other people or external events could be a blocking energy. Knight of Cups, okay. 8 of Wands, Queen of Swords reversed. All right, okay. So firstly, I'm going to say that gives us a different tilt to this. For some people, this is actually about committing to and believing in and having a relationship when you've been a lone wolf, I have to say. For some, that's the case. So I'm going to jump to this first. For some people, what is really could block your kind of getting this into balance would be an offer that is pushing to be taken up too quickly, and critique if you don't do it. So it's almost like an ultimatum. If somebody put an ultimatum on you, you're not going to go towards this opportunity. So it's important that people understand that you've got to sort out how to balance this off. There's also, you may naturally draw to yourself people who have a romantic view but are then perfectionists about it. So that could block the speed of things, because you could draw someone a bit like yourself who kind of has that duality and has to balance that duality in whatever it is, whether it's a romantic thing or creative thing. For you, you don't know if you want to commit to something. You don't know if you want to commit to this. I do think there's a kind of a sense you're tired. You've done a lot of sort of stuff, but you're kind of wanting to do whatever the new thing is. But on the other hand, it's like, do you commit to it? So it's really important for you to know that this is emotionally authentic to you. You're just not prepared to put energy into something till you're sure about that. So I think knowing that about yourself, knowing that, like, yeah, again, this is the non-negotiables with the Four of Pentacles. What do you need to make yourself go, I would commit to this, I would feel that this is going to be true to me, as opposed to just going with somebody else is offering me something that could be speeding up things for me, but there's a lot of kind of critique that could come with this, or control that could come with this. So again, it depends on what the situation is, but you just need to be able to balance those things. This is what this is talking about. So let's get you some support. Well, first of all, get you a couple of spirit animals for the kind of energy within yourself to access, to best bring this balance in, because there's a lot of potential here. This is really very, very positive. It's not wanting to say don't do it. It's understanding yourself and the situation and the people around you so that you can get the best out of it. So the first spirit animal is the goose. The goose that laid the golden eggs, potentially. And buffalo, which feels very strong. What is interesting about this is that buffalo is about life's blessings, and there is a blessing in this, but when we had the 10 of wands, it came out after a lot, and I think this next stage will also have that. There is a lot of promise, there is a lot of energy with it, but it takes resilience, which is what the goose have. When the geese migrate and when they navigate their way to the next place, there is a lot of resilience that they draw upon. So this is saying this is a very beneficial thing, but you've put a lot of resilience and energy into getting here, and now there's a new mountain to climb. You've climbed a mountain, and then you're going, oh, there's an even bigger mountain. It's got many benefits to get to the top of that mountain, but gee, I'm at the bottom of this mountain now. I've got to start again. There's that kind of energy with it, but you have the resilience. It is a blessing. It's saying there is something coming in, and it is really good. But maybe it comes in at the point you're not sure, like, oh, and you've got to deal with others. The geese migrate together. It's like, I feel like the buffalo, wants to be on their own, but like you do need to kind of have others. This next stage involves other people. Let's see what spiritual gifts would help you that either could be coming in or that you could access that you already have. Crystal healing. You're being called to explore crystal healing. Okay, so that maybe, if you haven't used crystals before, maybe research crystals that could make you feel that you have the energy and the stamina and the belief, and to also help work out what energies do you need to be able to process to feel comfortable doing this. And manifestation coach. You're being called to explore sharing your knowledge of manifestation to help remove blocks and make dreams come true. Like, it may be that it's not so much that you have to collaborate with others per se. It may be that you've just got to bring gifts that you have out and help others with it, because you've proven it. You've gone from the Ace through to the 10. You've got to be the King of Wands. You've got to be the Queen of Pentacles. It's like, it's now time to sort of share that, because there's a beauty in this, but you can't sort of do it sort of like, just telling a few friends about it occasionally, but not shining your light out in the world. But whatever it is, you are meant to sort of, something very good is meant to come out of this. Okay. So what kind of color energy does this bring to yourself and to others? So for you, and this is interesting, this turned up for one of the others. Sienna, plans, preparation, and training. I think this is picking up the resilience. It's like, one of the things that will probably help you is looking back at how you got from the Ace through to the 10 or even the King before. How would you do that again, and what is different about this, and having plans and feeling comfortable and confident about that. That's like your 4 of Pentacles. It's what's your foundation? What about with others? What color energy are you showing to others at this stage? Jet, conclusion, death, end. So right now, I think most people are seeing the ending of what you've done so that you begin something else. But maybe people are not sure what the new thing is. So as I say, it feels like, you've finished a particular job, you've just been promoted and you haven't shown that energy yet. You've got a qualification, you haven't sort of decided what to do with it. Like, there's something that's ended so that something else can begin. People don't know what that is yet because you're not sharing it with people. You will eventually need to do that, but you need to feel comfortable before you do that. So what astrology energy might help? What pairings of planets could help? Sun and moon. Wow, okay. So if any of this is romantic, it's meant to bring in a great love, I've got to say, because that's the alchemical marriage. Beyond that, it's like your sort of spiritual gifts and your life path. So it's like, and you came in on the sun. So this is knowing that this is the alchemical marriage. This is getting things in balance. And remember, Beleza is talking about the opposites, the balancing of opposites, the integration of opposites. And we have Uranus and Neptune. Very strong inspiration coming psychically and from the liminal space here. Very inspired. So for some of you, as I say, you may have put a lot of work into something, you've got to somewhere and you haven't yet worked out, particularly with this, what the next step is, but something's going to come through, something very inspirational. This is about inspiration and it's very psychic, so trust that energy. Let's see what sign you might get synchronistically or in dreams or something like that could tell you that the new thing is coming through if you're not yet aware of what it is, or if you are aware of how best to move forward. Backyard, past life, childhood memories, secrets, privacy. I think, again, this is privacy. What's in your own backyard? What's in your home? What's in you, where do you feel at home? There's sort of something there, and it may go back to childhood, a childhood dream or something like that. But if you sort of see somebody talking about backyards in a advertisement, or you dream about being in your backyard as a child or something like that, pay attention to that, because it's trying to give you almost a location of where the new growth is, I think. Okay, let's see some fortune energy right now with the Lenormand around this for you. Ship, yeah, your ship's coming in. This is good. This is good. I keep saying it because I feel like you're almost equivocal about it, but this is good. Your ship is coming in. Something is coming in so that you can then potentially get on the next ship for the next journey. Snake, you're not sure what to trust though, and it's good. It's good to make sure that you're sure. If you're now taking something out into the world, something creative, something new, you do need to be very clear. This is why you need to have your non-negotiables, because there could be people who would try to take advantage. You're not wrong about that if you're worried about it. Not that I'm saying there definitively is, but we always need to be aware that's a possibility. And clouds, okay. Now the interesting thing is that there is less with the way that Lenormand operates. There is less worry really about people than you think, because the lighter side of the clouds is pointing towards that. So this is suggesting the darker clouds are moving away. The ship is coming in. But, be aware of that, but don't let it worry you too much, because the reality is that isn't as big a risk as you might think. Okay. Lastly, we're just going to use the Earth Power Oracle just to see a destination, sort of a spiritual feeling around the destination. This doesn't mean you have to travel to this place, but it's just to give an energy of what could be the destination of this flight path when you start to sort of really fly with this new energy. Statue of Liberty. I am free to be who I really am. I have a right to my own happiness and sanctuary. I am free to be authentic. So this is not going to compromise who you are and what you want to be. It's very balanced, it's very fair. You do need to be more connected with other people, but you don't need to lose your authenticity on any level. And if you're worried about that, that won't happen. Statue of Liberty also is a sense of victory to me. And I think it is saying you're heading towards victory. It's been saying it right from the start, even if it's right at the beginning. But it's be true to yourself, but you are going to need to connect more with other people and be more out in the world in some way. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings. Welcome, Part 3, to your reading. So you came to the reading with the Lucid Minds Tarot, and the Dragon Rider is very interesting. You have Metatron with Estania. Estania is a female warrior dragon, a silver dragon connected to Metatron. One of the things that immediately struck me when I laid the cards out is that we have Metatron here with his wings, Estania with her wings, and then we have the Fool here, and everybody is on what looks like a cliff top. So I feel like there's something about this. You're starting from a high point, is what I feel firstly. So even though your flight path and what's going on here, you're already at a high point in some way, possibly very spiritually, because Metatron is a very high order archangel connected to Keter in the Kabbalah, is also the author of, or the narrator of, the divine plan, and so therefore is often a call to being true and authentic to who you are. And the card actually says, be sincere and fearless. There is no point in pretending or changing yourself for other people. So it's very much about, this has got something to do about living your truth and being strong in your truth, spiritually or otherwise, in whatever way it is. But with the Fool, it tells me that, as I say, although you're starting from a high point, you're starting something that's a new adventure. There's a quest feeling to it. And the other thing that then is interesting about that is that Estania is connected to Avalon. So this kind of connects you to the Arthurian legends as well too. So the sense of the quest for the Holy Grail or something like that. And ultimately, the Holy Grail is the heart of the land, the heart of the person, the authentic energy. So there's something about that. This is very, very spiritual. When we then look at the other cards that came with it, firstly we have the King of Cups reversed, which to me is a healing energy. very, very Chiron oriented. But again, I always feel, again, there's something Arthurian here, because with the King of Cups reversed, it's like Arthur, as he was, with his health failing until they found the Holy Grail. Or, the Fisher King sort of concept within Arthurian legends as well. So I think there is something here about a quest for the heart. Now, this doesn't mean that it's all about love. It could be. We'll see. We're going to learn a little bit more about it as we go through. But there is a healing, a quest for the heart, at the heart of the land, the heart of the spiritual journey. But as I say, it's sort of like your perspective is very high up. It's like you see at a long distance. And the other thing I get about that is it's very oracular. I always sort of try and explain what I think about tarot is like an eagle flying above two roads that are going to join at a particular point, but the two cars that are on the roads can't see each other yet, so they don't know that. But the eagle can see it because it's high enough up to see what is coming. So I think there's something in that for you too, and therefore being able to be authentic and write the story of what's coming. Very interesting energy. It's got to do with shifting foundations in your life in one way or another that were too restrictive and aren't working for you, to allow you to follow your North Star. Again, a quest energy. But it's also saying that part of, I think, what Metatron is here and Astana is here is to make sure you don't just sort of like jump into the air before you're ready to fly. Because of the Eight of Wands reversed, it's like you've got to be ready. There's a preparation here. I think you're kind of being put through a kind of spiritual boot camp or something to be prepared. Because again, if you look at it, Astana has wings, Metatron has wings, but the Fool character does not yet. And with the Eight of Wands, you haven't quite got your wings yet. You have to know what is it that you're seeking, I think, so that then the wings can develop and fly. Now, that doesn't mean that's going to take a long time, but it's like the guides and energies that you have around you could fly from their perch at this point in time. They want to prepare you to do that. That's what I feel this is talking about. So let's see a little bit more with tarot. So what we're going to ask firstly, just a little bit more about what is this flight path. Then we're going to look at what aids you in it, what helps you in it. Then we're also going to look at what could block you, both within yourself and also externally. So firstly, let's get a little bit more of an idea. What is this quest? As I say, it feels very big. It feels very Arthurian. It feels very healing of the land, that kind of thing. But it could be very, very personal. So let's just sort of see a little bit more about the energy of this for you. The Sun. It's definitely about your life path. The Three of Swords reversed. The Ten of Pentacles. The Nine of Wands reversed. The Four of Cups reversed. Okay. Look, this could, with, things like the Three of Swords reversed and so forth, it could, Four of Pentacles reversed. This could be very personal. Could be about a love relationship or something. I kind of doubt it, though. I think this is bigger picture. This is, at the very least, it's like family, ancestral stuff, that kind of energy, the legacy that you are going to bring on to others, the legacy that you've come from. So there could be some very deep karmic ancestral roots to this. But otherwise, I think the new journey is to create a bit of a dynasty. That's what your life path is. But there is some healing that has to happen first with the Three of Swords reversed. Because without that, and this is like the Eight of Wands reversed and then the Nine of Wands reversed, you may not have the stamina. You don't have yet all the firepower to see it through. There's still some emotional energy that needs to be let go of. So there is something painful around this on some level. Some of you could have come from painful family sort of energies, for instance. Or you could be, you could be in a country that's politically needs a sort of evolution or revolution almost to create something new that's sustainable, because right now it isn't. Like, it depends on what scale we're talking about here. It's very long range. It's almost like it's your life's work, actually, with the Sun there, and with that sort of sense, it's your life's work. Now, you have already achieved a lot and got to a level where you can see things with a clarity that other people can't yet. This Fool is very different, I feel, from the normal Fool, which is kind of a little bit innocent and could jump off the cliff and just see what happens. This Fool is strategic. This Fool has climbed the mountain. This Fool can meet and talk with Metatron. Or it's like Moses going up Mount Sinai to see the burning bush, that kind of thing. But there is something here, and I think it is very material. It is part of your life's work, but it is forcing you to understand the impact of this on you and what needs to heal within you, because that then has a flow-on effect to what your life's work is. So, pretty full on. So let's see what aids you in your flight path, pile 3. I mean, but you'd expect that when you see something like Metatron, I've got to say. Page of Cups reversed. 9 of Cups reversed. 10 of Cups. 2 of Cups reversed. Wow, it's all cups. It's going back to the King of Cups. So what aids you is that you, first of all, have to understand what the malaise is. Understand where the heart is not being fed. Understand where the dream is not being met. Understand where the connections are not the right connections. Getting that perspective. Understanding that in the greater narrative, what is meant to happen. Because you're meant to bring about this dynasty or this time of greater happiness, peace, and all that kind of thing. So it's almost like what's helping you at the moment is getting to this top of the cliff and being able to survey it. You're very much someone who is contemplating a situation and what needs to be done to fix it, what needs to be done to heal it. And it's seeing what's wrong that will help you create and see what's right. So you're at a particular stage at the moment of this. So let's see what could block you, both internally and externally. So we'll get 3 cards for internally, what's going on within you that could block your clarity, I think, to be able to plan and move forward. And then also what could externally get in the way. So firstly, internally, Knight of Swords, 2 of Pentacles, 4 of Wands reversed, okay. And what about externally? Queen of Swords, the Lovers, 7 of Cups. Okay, all right. One of the things that's going on here, in whatever way this is playing out, is that while what you're doing is healing the heart, healing the land, whatever this may be, and it is about authenticity and all those kind of things, you are a warrior. That's why you've got Astania. So within you, what could actually be a problem and what could skew your perspective on this or slow you down in some way is the fact that you wanted to speed up and just damn the consequences, really. You just want to move forward. You just want to make some decisions right now, and it doesn't matter if other people don't like them. So it's kind of like you'd be the sort of person, you'd be like if you were a medical practitioner, it would be like, yeah, you've just got to take this medicine whether you like it or not. If you were in a workplace and you were sort of looking at change that needs to occur ultimately to help the organisation, but there's a lot of people who are going to be upset, it's like, it is what it is, just get on with it. So there's a kind of, you are coming from the heart, but because your perspective is so long term, you're seeing like this is where we have to be and this is what we have to get to go there. But that could block you because some people might try and block you before you even get there because they don't have that, they don't see what you see. So you want to hurry up and get to what you can see. You want to work out the quickest and easiest way to get there. And if that upsets a few people, fine, because we're going after what we're going after. But that could actually block you because that impatience, other people can't see as far as you can right now. So therefore, other people might get very critical about what you do. They may think that you're not enough of the heart. Even though you really are, they may think that you aren't. And they may sell a different version that is kind of a little bit diluted or a little bit. So you know what it makes me think of, to be honest? It makes me think of like political parties. If you get one political party that's like, we just have to like, go through a little bit of sort of adversity or a little bit of austerity to get to where we need to get. And then there's another path that goes, oh no, you're not of the heart, you're not caring enough, you're not compassionate enough. That can be a much more compelling argument to people in the media because they're not seeing what's coming. So I think understanding that if your message is ultimately towards healing in the heart, but it's a rocky road to get there, how do you actually slow down enough to bring people with you? Because otherwise people are going to be going, oh, that's too harsh. That's too harsh. So I think there's something like that going on with this for you. So let's get you some support. So let's firstly get you a couple of spirit animals, like to show energy within you that would help in, I think, getting this balance so that people can see what you see. Because you ultimately are right, pile 3. It's not that you're wrong, but it's like You have a kind of resilience and a warrior thing, as I say, but sometimes pretty words are much more compelling. So what spirit animal energy could work? Buffalo. Okay, that's interesting. They came up for one of the others. And Arabian oryx. Okay. I think that some of you might have come to more than one reading because there's a very similar balance of energy here as there was in another one that had the buffalo. And that's fine. This could be two sides to the same thing and some other information. But anyway, with the buffalo, it is saying that what you are doing here and what you're heading towards and your flight path is leading to something that is actually of great benefit, and it is a blessing. So understanding the blessing is there. The Holy Grail can be found. But the Arabian oryx is the thing that gives you the resilience to get there. So it's very interesting that you were drawn also to the deck that has everything kind of in the desert. So in a sense, you understand you're dealing with maybe a harsher environment. You're wanting to bring almost all that cups energy, water back to the desert. There's that kind of energy. So the Arabian oryx has the resilience to do that, to go through to do that, hard yard, so to speak. So I think, but knowing that this is a blessing and knowing that ultimately this is for the good and knowing in the bigger scheme of things, this is necessary because, just like Metatron, you can see the whole narrative. You can see how it's going to play out. So what spiritual gifts could help you? Either ones that you already have that you can access or ones that might come forward with Metatron's help for this next stage of your journey. Runes, that came up with one of the others as well too. So oracular ability, that makes sense. Whenever I see runes, tarot or whatever in this deck, I feel like this is saying this is somebody who has oracular ability. So yeah, your ability to see the future, to see the consequences of things, that is part of it. And psychocartography, you're being called to explore the connection to place through the land and so forth. And this is a bit like astrocartography as well too. Understanding the land, as I say, this felt like healing the land, the Arthurian thing. There's something about the environment, there's something about the properties of the world or the country that you're dealing with or the location that you're dealing with or what people call home. What's the spiritual connection to that? The connection to the land. It is really important to this in some way. Okay, what energies, like when we look at color energies, are you bringing to yourself with this and what do you display to others? So bringing to yourself in this flight path. Cerulean, relaxation, sleep, surrender. Okay, this is probably saying that you need to heal too. Also, I think it's saying that a lot of your oracular ability comes in sleep, in dreams. Pay attention to dreams or meditation, that kind of thing. Possibly shamanic journeying. What about to other people? It's interesting. This has come up, but it was more for each person within and the other ones. Sienna, plans, preparation and training. So I think that once you've dreamt it up, you can actually help other people prepare and plan. But this is where you've got to be very well aware of having the pretty words as well as the long-term plan, because otherwise people could try and get in the way or take over. And you wouldn't get to where you all really need to be. Let's see some astrological energy that would help you. Venus and Venus. Yeah, the heart. This is beautiful. This is, this is a female dragon. This is about the heart. This is about love. This is about healing. This is about the Holy Grail. It is all of that kind of energy. So remembering that, because as I say, you can see consequences, you can see long-term, and some people don't recognize the heart in that. There is heart in that. And Mercury and Venus. Yes, how do you communicate the heart? Think about how you communicate the heart, because there are words that other people are speaking and other narratives, and they won't heal. They will be a problem, but you do have to be aware they could be compelling as well, because you're a little bit more stoic, and a lot of people don't want to hear that they've got to be stoic. So that energy is important to be able to communicate the heart that you're trying to go for. Let's see something synchronistic, a sign synchronistically or in dreams or something like that, particularly for you maybe in dreams, that will tell you that you're heading in the right direction. The flight path is clearing for your success. Ooh, the singing bowl, sound, music, vibration, reverb, love, open heart. Yeah, the heart. Always singing, communicating. Music may help you meditate. But yeah, there's a beautiful tone that kind of opens the heart and clarifies the mind with singing bowls. So that kind of energy, like the use of sound. Sound is important. You know, what you vocalize is important in some way with this. Okay. So let's also see some fortune energy. If we're going through a flight path, what's the fortune energy that you may encounter? Clover, luck. There's luck and a blessing. Like this is meant to succeed. And look how the clover is growing in the desert again. There is definitely this sort of sense that this is meant to succeed. You have clouds. So yeah, if you've been worried, the clover, see how the lighter clouds are there? The clover is actually bringing the luck to make the clouds move away. But because the clouds are here in the middle, there may be still some worries about whatever this third card is going to be. So let's see what that is. Coffin, yeah, what is stuck and what slows things down. You are a bit impatient, and God knows I am the absolute epitome of impatience, so I'm not criticising you, but you are a bit impatient. So you may worry when things get stuck. But remember that basically this is lucky, and understand that some of this is to slow you down so that those with the sweeter but forked tongue don't end up getting people to follow them instead, because what you're doing is more important in whatever way this is. Okay, last but not least, we're just going to see what the kind of destination of your flight path is in a kind of spiritual energy. So it is a destination on Earth, but it's not about you have to travel to this place. It's just the feeling or the energy of this particular flight path. Wow, Death Valley. I am resilience. There is hope. There can be success through hardship. Like it's just saying it over and over. This is a long-term thing. It's probably partly why I also said like Moses going up to see the burning bush. It's like the Exodus in a way. I think you're meant to lead people through difficult times to a better outcome because you can see what that is, and it reclaims the heart, it reclaims the water. It takes us out of that period that is difficult. But the journey the resilience is going to be important. But you're the person for it. You've just got to understand you're a little bit more resilient and strong than other people, so you've got to be able to communicate the vision and the heart at all times. So I hope that resonates for you. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If so, please like the video and subscribe. If you care to share in the comments, I'd love to hear. Otherwise, I hope to see you in future readings.